So we have the panel where we have three delegates who will share with us their expertise and their experience in digital transformation, talking about industry, different scenarios. So I would like to welcome the panelists. We have Islam Al-Barbari, we have Diego, and we have Thomas. Okay? So welcome everyone to our panel.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Hi, Shireen. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. So we'll start by asking you Islam question. So first, please introduce yourself, please.
Thank you, Shireen. My name is Islam Al-Barbari. I am the regional sales manager for GE Digital. I'm looking after Middle East, Africa, and Turkey for digital solutions for manufacturing sector.
So please, Islam, go on. So driving a change, you have been in the region, you have been a lot of lessons learned together from transformation. GE Digital has been there for years, helping companies, helping technologies. So we would like to ask you, what is the expected outcomes, or what are the expected outcomes from digital transformation, especially for manufacturing sector?
Well, thank you, Shireen, for the question. It's very important to mention the terminology outcomes, because digital transformation is never about technology. Digital transformation is always about outcomes. And when we meet with clients, normally the first question we ask them, what is your expectations from the outcome, or what are the pain points you have today? And the outcomes for manufacturing sector might have different aspects for different verticals, for different countries, for different industries. But in general, what we have seen during the last decade from outcomes perspective when it comes to manufacturing sectors, something like efficiency, for example, like overall equipment effectiveness, OE. Most of our plants in the region, their OE or their efficiency considered low when we compare with other areas like Europe or North America. And enhancing your efficiency means by default increasing your production. So if you increase your efficiency by 10%, means by default you increase your production by 10%. And 10% increasing in production using the same machines, same capabilities, same resources might means millions of dollars for the manufacturer. So efficiency is one of the outcomes expected when you lead digital transformation. Another outcome might be around optimization for the operation and for production planning, for example. So today, for the manufacturers who have a big number of products or big number of SKUs, hundreds or thousands of SKUs, it's really very, very hard to manage your production planning on a piece of paper or an Excel sheet. And you might need a technology to help you to optimize your production planning, to minimize the changeover time, to minimize the waste, to minimize the downtime of your machines, and to give you the most optimized plan for your production. Other outcomes might be around quality, how to enhance the quality of my product, quality of my process as well, which reflect into better profit and increasing your margin sometimes. So there are different outcomes when it comes to manufacturing and digital transformation. And again, normally when we meet with clients, what are your pain points today? What are your main issues today where we can jump in and help you? Don't look for technology, look for the pain points and the outcomes.
So give us top 2 challenges, Islam, before we move on with the questions, just for digital transformation, from your experience, from what you see. Top 2.
Well, in our region, I would say the readiness for the sites. So most of the sites we have seen in our region here needs some foundation work to be ready for digital transformation, like machines connectivity to collect the data, like the layer 1, layer 0 of automation is not ready, the network, the infrastructure is not ready. And this is one of the main challenges, because if we cannot connect to machines, collect the data, it means really we cannot start our digital transformation journey. The other main challenge, and I would say the most important challenge we see today, is if the management on the top level from CEO or the owner or the chairman of the board doesn't have a strategy for digital transformation, because I can see most of the mid-management and senior management sometimes believe in digital transformation. They need to do a lot of work. They have some good ideas in their minds. Unless there is a buy-in from the senior top management, like the CEO, who believes in digital transformation, who it is part of one main pillar of his strategy for the next 10 or 15 years, it doesn't work for most of the time. So the second challenge is how the top management is convinced with the terminology digital transformation and the importance of digital transformation for their industry for the next 5 or 10 or 15 years.
Thank you, Islam. So now we move on to Diego. So stay with us, please. We have another question for you. So can we move on, please? So Diego is here. Okay. So thank you for joining us today. And as part of the panel, we have few questions for you. So like we want to understand, people talk about AI. So please answer us. Share your thoughts. Okay. AI, Industry 4.0, even 5.0 concepts. So please, I would like to welcome you.
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay, it's yeah, certainly there as the previous speakers they have said, we have 10-12 years of Industry 4.0. Is in these 12 years of for industrial revolution, the artificial intelligence has been maybe the main driver. But the problem is that we expected quite much from the artificial intelligence in 2011 when the 4.0 concept pop up. And what we wanted is basically, as you can see in the slide, to convert data into, next slide, please, into information. And we wanted to convert data into information because we were collecting a huge amount of data. And the fourth industrial revolution created a number of opportunities to create a lot of data. Next slide, please. But once we come to the concept of industrial AI, and this concept is interesting because the concept of industrial AI is the artificial intelligence tailor-made for the industry to solve industrial problems, especially in manufacturing and especially in maintenance, etc., then we see that the real artificial intelligence is not there. What we have been doing for 12 years is maybe data analytics, is a bit of machine learning, but we don't have artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence as some kind of replica of the human behavior behaving as such. Definitely, we don't have as is the artificial intelligence, and we can say that we have what we call reactive or limited memory artificial intelligence. Is very, very limited performance. And finally, this is one of the main problems that we have found with the artificial intelligence in the industry, is not able to solve the concept of the black swan. The black swan as events that are not in the data sets and therefore cannot be detected or predicted, then these events, once they happen, they create huge problems. And maybe this is the main problem that we have in the current industrial AI that we have in place. What is next? Sorry?
Can you please explain the story of the black swan, because not everyone is familiar with?
Yeah, black swan is, let me say that black swan comes from the time that, you know, if you had one encyclopedia and you search for swan, it was saying, okay, it's a white animal similar to a duck and blah, 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 blah. Suddenly in Australia, they found black swans. And the conclusion of this story is that if you have not seen something, doesn't mean that doesn't exist. And it's very important because if you have in your data set a number of events that you want to detect or predict, this is not the universe of events that may happen. Some events may be out of this data set. And once they happen, you may not detect it or predict it. And if you miss these events because you are not able to detect or prevent, then finally you will have a huge problem. And this is the black swan effect. like pandemia, COVID-19, Fukushima, Chernobyl, things that once they happen, you realize that, okay, you could have been aware of that, but you weren't. Actually, the problem we find now is that we have the need now in 2023, the need to co-create a solution between the artificial intelligence and the people. We cannot get rid of the people. And this is, I think, one of the main important things that we have to question is the people. We have to co-create a solution, and the artificial intelligence has to be fed by the domain knowledge that the people is providing. And this is maybe answering the second question, that is when you put the panel. This is maybe the main outcome of the 4.0 now, is this, that domain knowledge and AI both are needed, and they have to co-create a solution together. That's why hybrid models that combine the physical knowledge of the assets, the human knowledge, the domain knowledge as it is, together with the AI, this concept of hybrid models is what is going through this kind of bio-inspired AI and many other things that compensate the lack of knowledge that the AI has. Because this has been the very bad outcome of 4.0 after 12 years. The AI as a standalone couldn't solve the problems in the soft law level. Then what happened? We have the 4.0 revolution, 12 years, AI has not been able to solve the problems, many technologies, and the technology becomes like the elephant in the room. And what happened with that? Then suddenly we find another concept. We find another concept that is the 5.0. The 5.0 that is very pushed by the European Union. Next slide, please. Where you will see that here in the European Union, we are pushed very heavily the concept of Industry 4.0 based on three pillars. First one, let me tell you that the human has to be in the center of everything. Industry 4.0 was removing the human with the dark factory concept. No humans will be needed anymore. This is not true. Industry 5.0 puts the human in the center of everything, human in the loop. Second, sustainability. Industry 4.0 was talking about performance, but not about sustainability, not about energy efficiency, not about circularity. Now we have to deliver sustainability. And finally, resilience. Next slide, please. When we talk about assets and when we move from 4.0 to 5.0, one pandemic, COVID-19, is in between. And we have been proven the humans as the less reliable and more fragile part of the assets. Our assets needs to be resilient. Energy, transportation, industry has to be resilient to start up again once they fail. This is where we are now, and this is where the challenge that the artificial intelligence and the digital transformation will have in this transition from the 4.0 concept based on performance to the 5.0 concept that we are pushing in the European Union and European Commission.
Thank you very much for this fantastic input. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we move now to Thomas. So as part of the panel, we are talking about the change in the digital and lessons from transformation. So as a leader, what is the most important driver for the technology change within any organization?
Yes, thank you for this question. As already my predecessors said, Muhammad and also Islam, the important thing about the change is to understand why we want to change or what is changing around us so that we have to change. So it is the successful transformation projects are not about just a change in a technology, just as Diego, for example, said, just to pass from one industry 4.0 to 5.0. It is to understand why we have to change, and very often the change and the drivers are within the people, as also Diego said. We have to place the human in the center of the change, both in terms of what will be changed, so that the change in technology embrace also the people that are working with this technology, but moreover, just to understand the driver. And also, I would like to tackle the second question, because I find it very interesting, is when implementing a change, sometimes, so first we have to understand what is the goal, as I think Islam was pointing out, that first you have to understand this pain point. You have to have a goal in the change that you want to reach. But sometimes it's when you are driving some important changes, you have unexpected results. And I will show one of the examples. I was very often involved in smart city projects, and one of the projects for one of the city that we were working for was to roll out a remote monitoring system for water distribution. So a remote system that took the measurements from the water counters throughout the city. And the goal that was set was to limit the loss of water, because when you are counting the water, the distribution of the water, you're able to find leakages or other loss of water, and this was the main goal. But a very interesting thing, that a year after implementing the system, I came back to this company that was distributing water, and I asked what was the main change, what was the main success of the implementation. And in fact, it wasn't the fact that they were able to limit the loss of water by, as far as I remember, 10%. They were improving the invoicing of the consumed water by also around 10%, because the counters were better supervised. But the most important thing is that they learned how the water is distributed through their pipes, and they were able to cancel a very heavy investment that they thought they have to do, an investment in some pump station. So since years they were aware that the level of water is not enough in some of the quarter of the city, and they thought that they have to invest. And by the fact that the system was learning how the water is distributed, they came to a conclusion that they can cancel this investment and make some much lower investment in order to get the result of being more effective. So this shows us that when we are driving change, of course we have to work with people inside, but we have to still remain attentive to facts that are changing, and profit, or sometimes perhaps have additional challenges, but profit of the change, not only in the goals that we set, but also looking around and looking how our environment is evolving.
Thank you very much. So back to you, Islam, if we want to ask you just a question in 2 minutes. How digital transformation journey can start, where to start, how to start? I know it's a big story.
It's a big story, but however, as I mentioned before, I don't recommend anyone to start investing in any technology unless they have clear strategy, clear roadmap with a clear and defined milestones, where they need to be in 5 years or 10 years. because what we have seen in the market today is some of the clients, they start investing in a technology left and right, and by the end, they found themselves those kind of technology coming from different vendors cannot talk to each other, and they are missing the whole purpose of integrating systems and communicating data between different systems to have the required outcome. So before you do anything, before you invest in a single piece of technology, you must have clear strategy, roadmap, and milestones. Once you have your strategy, regardless, you will start with ERP or AI or manufacturing execution system. The foundation for digital transformation, as my colleagues has mentioned, is the data. Then our recommendation all the time, before you think about different complicated technology, you need to think how you collect the data from your machines, from your shop floor. Once you have the data, this is the foundation, then you can start looking into what I should do next. But again, the first step in any digital transformation is the strategy and the roadmap.
Thank you. So we move last question. Back to you, Thomas, again, and we'll ask you, what is the technological time horizon for choosing a solution? How long does it take? Is it better to choose a proven technology that's already in a mature phase of the life cycle, or it's better to go to innovation? So what would be your reflection in 2 minutes about it?
Okay, so I will try to be quick. Very often after as it was pointed, we set up goals, then we adapt. We are looking for scouting for technologies, and then there's usually two approaches. One, a careful one. Let's implement technologies that are already from years on the market because it is more secure, and the other is let's take the most advanced, the newest technology, because then this technology will last for longer. And in fact, what you have to do is to draw you a life cycle of your project. So understanding whether this project is for 3 years, 5 years, or 15 years. What are the pillars, the important part of your project, and then map the life cycles of technologies on this life cycle of a project. Just to be more concrete, for example, I was and I still work a lot in IoT, in machine to machine, and what was the reality in terms of generation of mobile is that, for example, within our day-to-day usage, we had 2G mobiles, then 3G mobiles, 4G mobiles. Now we are rolling out or we are using already 5G mobiles. But in terms of IoT and M2M, we are jumping straight from 2G almost, I would say that in more cases, just to 5G, because the other 3G and 4G didn't bring anything of value, except of course for large amount of data. But usually IoTs needs low data flows. So it is important to understand the life cycles and just to map, and then choose whether it is more advantageous to go for the newer technology or keep with the already proven technologies. But this is also a cycle. This is also a process to continue to judge, because some technologies, even if they are counted for lower amount of time, in result, like for example this 2G in M2M, in result are used much longer than it was previously thought of. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So if we have one question for all of you from Syed Haider, it says the digital transformation bow down against government policies and connectivity to global network and internet blockage problems. Like, yes, we want to have digital, but problems and policies from government, different problems everywhere. So what's your reflection on this?
I would say that usually the progress within technology is done by private companies or between cities and large customers. So I would say that the government has to establish a controllable environment, like, for example, regulation for telecommunication and for competition, etc. But then I think that the creativity of people and creativity of customers and suppliers are good enough to build the progress. Of course, for example, with AI, we have to perhaps it's one of the first since a long time invention that it is favorable to do some regulation while this technology is developed, so before it will reach a dangerous step.
Thank you. So last question for Diego. Someone is asking difference between Industry 4.0 and 5.0, and he says, please give example.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. 4.0 is an industrial revolution based on technologies. We have a bunch of technologies like big data, IoT, AI, etc., that come into place. And the only objective of that is to have better performance, but they don't consider a wider framework where the human first cannot be removed. Second, there are other things that we have to take care of, like terms of sustainability. In terms of manufacturing, let me say that this is very clear. The example, the manufacturing sector is not a matter of just production, mass production. It's a production in a sustainable way. It's a production where the energy is efficient. It's a production where the circularity, the circular economy is considered. It's a production in the manufacturing process where all aspects of carbon footprint and emissions are considered. Then the new 5.0 consider this as a framework where the technology has to be constrained. And this is important to notice because the use of the technologies, as my predecessor was mentioning, is crucial. For example, in the use of the AI. The use of the AI during the fourth industrial revolution, we didn't bother about that. Now we are developing standards about the ethics of AI in some sectors and how the AI should grow up, because we cannot leave it growing without any control, because we will not have what we expect from that. Then the 5.0 concept is not a limit, it's not a drawback, it's just a social claim that put the 4.0 technologies under the control of the humans and with a sustainable insight as main goal.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all the information, and thank you for the wonderful panel. And I think now we move to the next speaker. So we would like to welcome Santiago, please. So this is a small certificate. Thank you for being with us today. And we appreciate all what you have been doing with us. Okay. So thank you.